Here we go. We have this old, distinguished looking uh, guy over here. I'm not sure if he's African or American or whatever. I don't know where he's from, but he's got some, I guess, some words of wisdom for everybody. And I want you to listen closely to hear this guy out. And I have some comments about what he's saying. Mind you, I'm black, okay, but I see things slightly different. Okay, a lot of these guys want to bamboozle I guess the black community. They always want us to feel like someone has done something to us, as opposed to guys like this actually getting up and doing something about what the hell they're talking about. All right, let's listen.
We cannot ask the people who programmed us into oblivion to program us out of it. Education has but one honorable purpose, one alone. Everything else is nonsense. And that is to train the student to be a respectful and a responsible handler of power. People do not train you in how to take their power away from them when they hold power by controlling you. To expect this of other people is a contradiction in terms.
All right. Now, you hear this guy speaking very eloquent English and with a suit and a tie on. Suit and tie is not a black man's invention, right? The Africans did not create this. All through African history, the clothing that were worn were not like this, okay? So if we want to be honest, this guy is appropriating white culture, okay? The white man's culture. But as we know, he's over here talking about how, I guess, the education systems that he got or we got or whoever got was made by the white man in order to make the black man subjugated, blah, blah, blah. And my question is, why in this guy's infinite wisdom, I don't know who he is, why hasn't he created a black educational system, right? So if you're sitting here talking about, oh, the white man's education is bad and they want to subjugate us and whatever, why haven't you, in your infinite wisdom, I mean, look at this guy, he's old, right? I'm sure he could have spent some time to actually sit down and craft a whatever they call a black education, created and for black people by black people, where there wouldn't be any of all the evils he's talking about, the white man, the subjugation, and they want to keep us, at their beck and call and all this stuff. Why haven't you, Mr. Black Man, such an eloquent complainer, why haven't you come up with a solution? You can sit down and write something on paper, come up with an educational system that is better than what the so-called white man has created, right? That is, not hurtful to you and your people. All right, but he won't do that. He's just gonna sit here and complain. Look at him at his age; he's gonna die and be gone. And there's gonna be 1,000 people like this misinforming blacks. These guys will not sit and create anything. Now, if we sit and talk about white people and the white educational system, in this case, somebody sat down and wrote the educational system, and then they planned it, they enhanced it, they put it into practice, and now it's actually something that everybody goes to. This guy, on the other hand, will never sit down and create anything out of thin air, but he'll complain about the white man's educational system while he's speaking the white man's language and wearing the white man's clothing. If you're going to complain about a white man, please stop wearing his clothing. Please stop speaking his language. You see what I'm saying? These guys are lazy. They're greedy. It's just the laziness. They don't plan ahead. And they say stuff like this to confuse the black community, because we all kind of listen to these guys as if they're smart and they're right, but they're not. They're a bunch of losers. They're stupid, and they're evil, because what they do is they're trying to distract from the fact that at his age he hasn't created anything. If he was smart, he would have created this educational system that he claims we should have, that is going to, excuse me, that's going to be good for black people and doesn't take care of advantage of black people. He needs to create that, but he won't because he can't. And I call him lazy, and I'm black too. So you can't come and tell me that I'm being racist here. The dude is lazy. He just wants attention. How about that? All right, let's listen.
Freedom is something you do not wish upon, you do not dream upon. Freedom is something you take with your own hand.
Okay, let me stop this guy right there. Freedom, freedom, freedom. All African nations have been granted freedom or given freedom or they took freedom, whatever, however you want to say it. African Americans are free, Haitians are free, etc., etc. There's no slavery. The white man is not enslaving any black person in this day and age. But black people are still enslaving black people, as we all know, in Africa and other places. Okay, this man is talking about freedom is something you take with your own two hands. So you see, he's making it sound like freedom is a physical object, right? You have to go and take it from someone because someone has captured it and kept it in their pocket. Like your freedom, someone has kept it in his pocket. You see how delusional these people are? You wake up in the morning, and I'm not talking history. I'm talking about right now, today. You wake up, you're free. You're a free man. Your decisions is what determine how your life goes. But they still sitting here talking about things from hundreds of years ago. And if you want to be honest with yourself, a lot of the bad things that happened to blacks, Africans, African Americans, and just black people in general was caused by these old black men. Look at them. This is the same guy 300 years ago that would sell his people to some invader for a mirror or gunpowder. These are the same African men, okay, the African chiefs. This guy at his age in an African culture would be a respected man, right? He'll be somebody in the community. But he's the same guy who will be quick to sell an African from a different tribe to a white man, right? And to be honest about slavery, if you're not selling, no one can buy. All right, these guys were selling each other before the white man came. They were selling each other to each other. Slavery is still happening in Africa. It's a thing that these Africans love to do. It's part of their culture. And they've been selling to the Arabs. They were selling to the Arabs, okay, before the white man came. So when they talk like this, it's very intellectually dishonest, okay? You're still focused on something that you caused, right? Where you could actually be focused on abolishing hunger in Africa. You know what I mean? This guy could be writing thesis and he could put together a consortium of organizations that make sure that there'll never be famine in Africa. They could have a platform where they track famine and try to predict famine and disease and epidemics in Africa. They could be doing something that's actually worthwhile to the people that are living in Africa right now. But no, he's going to sit here and speak good Queen's English, discussing something that happened hundreds of years ago, which he had a good hand in. So these people, and the reason why, as a black man, the reason why I don't like listening to these people is because they distract black people from moving forward. They always keep us backward leaning, backward focused. They're keeping us in chains, right? They're enslaving us with these old rhetorics, which they caused. People like this, you go find out he didn't leave anything, had a bunch of kids, never created a company, a factory that benefits and employs African people or black people. But they sit here and always want to talk a whole lot of noise and people listen. All right, let's go. Let's hear some more.
When people dictate the content of education, they're dictating what goes into your mind. And when they dictate that, they're going to dictate your action. And though you might lie about it, so long as you are in this position, you are some form of a slave. Free yourselves from it and do not expect others to do it for you. We stopped begging at the door of people who reduced us to beggars.
You hear that? He put the word slave in there. All right. These guys are obsessed with slavery. Okay. They're obsessed with it because that's all they know. They don't know anything like capitalism. They don't know anything like philanthropy. They don't know anything like compassion for the poor in society or animal conservation or building spacecraft or enhancing, planning the future of the African people. All they have in their heads is slavery because that's who they are. Look, I'll be doing videos on slavery, and you'll find out that the African kings were selling people to Arabs. The African leaders sell African people, the citizens, okay? And this could include criminals, prisoners of war, destitute people, orphans, stuff like that. They grab you instead of building an orphanage, they'll sell you. They'll sell you to the next town. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I know that the whole world wants us to think that the white man is the bad guy, and the Africans were just sitting there singing kumbaya, and then the white man came and started buying and selling them. Let me ask you, you are a white man, you come from a whole different continent. How can you come to a different continent and actually successfully buy people? It's impossible. Okay, these guys were selling each other for crap. And out of all the selling of each other that they did, these guys didn't leave any empires. They didn't build any monuments. They don't have any megalithic structures. They don't have any great economic things we can look back to and say, yeah, they sold 1,000 people and they used that to build, the Great Wall of Africa or some huge megalithic monument that we can go look at. Or that they built 10 pyramids. Okay, these guys are lazy and evil and destructive. They'll just destroy everything in their path. Now they want to destroy the minds of Africans and black people that want to move past this thing and build a better future. They want to keep us shackled in this past, and they want to be these eloquent complainers. They can complain about this thing for 10 years. You ask them, how do we build an educational system for Africans? And right there and then, they'll start stuttering. They have no ideas. Don't listen to these guys, okay? Listen to science, technology, engineering, and math, and use that to build your future. Don't listen to these guys. These guys are completely evil, okay? I'm a black man too, but listen, I don't take BS from nobody. These guys are evil, okay? These old black guys, they're evil, man. They've done something, and they want to cover it up by blaming the so-called white man. These guys, all they know is slavery and easy money. If you look at Africa, all these countries get loans and they always want loan forgiveness. Why do you borrow from someone and then you come back and tell them I don't want to pay, so forgive me the loan? Who does that? It's just these African men, these old African leaders. Okay, so don't think because they're old they have wisdom, or because they're black, everything they say is true. They're lying to you, man. These are race hustlers. They're evil. These guys are as evil as the people that sold their own people into slavery. Okay, don't listen to them. These guys are bad people. Okay, free your mind and the rest will follow. Don't go with this train of we're oppressed and somebody's done something to you. Look at it. I woke up this morning. It's a bright, beautiful day. The sun is shining. Okay, nobody has chains around my neck. They may have had 400 years ago because people like this sold people like me into slavery. But today, not so much. I can do whatever I want. I have free will. I went out, I got some coffee. I have free will. Nobody hold me back. I'm about to start working. Okay. I can learn what I want to learn. I can plan for my future. And I know my future is in my own hands. There's opportunity in this country. Okay. In other countries, there's no opportunities. That's why many, many immigrants move heaven and earth to get to America. There's opportunity here. People like this don't want to use opportunity. They want to sit and complain and hopefully they get free stuff. Now, they're only doing this in Western countries. They will never go to an Arab country and start this mess because those Arabs are not they're not gonna listen to this. Okay, and these people know that the Arabs will, they might behead your ass. Excuse my French if you try to mess with them. You know what I mean? But the West is all kind and all this nonsense here, which is part of the West's fault. They really need to cut this nonsense and just get tough on these, you know, get real. Yeah, just get real, man. We're sick of it. The black community, not all of us subscribe to this bullshit of, you know, oppressed and oppression and everything is everyone's fault. As if you know, we the black folks didn't have a hand in our own problems. Take personal responsibility for once. It works. Peace.